It's really, really important to bring mobile industry together with government, suppliers and payers of health, with startups and SMEs, and of course universities, so that you bring them all together rather than have them sitting in their silos, because that holds back deployment. Our job, as we see it, is to make sure that the silos speak to each other. And believe you me, there are lots of silos. If you think about it, every other industry, financial services, travel, tourism, all of that, have already embraced mobile technology. They've embraced social media. Contrast that with health and wellness. All we've got are lots of apps. But in the real fundamental sickness business, as opposed to health business, how many people are able to FaceTime their doctor? Can you Skype your doctor? Probably not. Why is that? So we're trying to tackle and break down those obstacles and barriers. Yeah, there's a particular focus on making sure that we understand what people like, for example, Samsung, may want to do over the next couple of years in healthcare. The key for them is they're a product company, but they recognize that in order to sell their products, they've got to understand the health and wellness business better. They understand they're not in that business, so to speak. They therefore want to engage with all the sectors and the silos, because they don't want to provide those services, they want to provide the products which allow those services to be provided. So people like Samsung, people like Philips, Telefonica, these sorts of people want to come here and actually engage directly with the people who can teach them, if you like, about the sector. Yes, I think there's not only an opportunity, there's a real desperate need. Go back to my point about other sectors in the world. When you go to book a flight, I know I do, I go online. When I want to book a hotel, I do that. And I know I can look at hotels and photographs and so on. You cannot do the same thing with your doctor or your hospital. You're relying on them saying, well, we can see you in 2 weeks' time. By the way, we can see you for 3 minutes. The fact that you have to travel an hour, wait for half an hour, and then travel back for an hour doesn't seem relevant to them. So we've got to fundamentally change the culture. And that's not easy, because you're up against a medical profession who believe that they're in charge, where in fact we believe the consumer should be in charge. Well, I think the expectation is definitely there. I'll give you a quick example. My 10-year-old grandson, 3 weeks ago, woke up, high temperature. His mother says, you can't go to school. I want to go to school, which is unusual for a 10-year-old, I know. But I want to go to school. And she said, you've got to see a doctor. So he handed her his iPad and said, can you get the doctor on FaceTime? And she said, no. And he said, why? Why not? I can speak to my friends on FaceTime. I can speak to Grandad. But I can't speak to my doctor. That's a fundamental problem. So the expectation is there. As to the security question, think about it. There are many, many organizations in the world who overcome the same security problems, and there's this fixation, there's almost this paranoia about health data. Of course you've got to be secure, but hey, if you can save yourself 4 or 5 hours traveling, you use Skype, maybe you want to use FaceTime, maybe you want to use something else, but in the end of the day, the consumers will overcome the current cultural, there are no technical obstacles, none whatsoever. It's the problem is the profession doesn't necessarily embrace that technology. I would like to see coming out of this event the confirmation of the discussions that have been going on today in our matchmaking sessions where we put companies and others together. You can feel already talking to people here, they can see ways in which by collaborating, what's come out of it is no one company has got all the solution. So what you require here is collaboration. And by what you do, by bringing those people together on a regular basis, you produce new products, new services, which then become acceptable and desirable by the consumer.